Welcome back to the Plant.Body.Soul podcast, and I am delighted to be here with, I guess we're all co-hosting this experience, but we've got Tayla, our director of content.
Hi, hello, good morning.
We also have Anna Gray. I have to specify last names here.
Hello.
Our podcast manager, I would say, yes, and content creator as well. And we also have Anna Moreno.
Hello.
Our influencer marketing manager. And I'm really grateful to be sitting here with these lovely and intelligent, powerful women, the women of Plant.Body.Soul, minus one, right?
Yeah, but I think we'd have to do something really crazy to get Jasmine.
To get Jasmine. Well, we'll give a little shout out to Jasmine Kemper. Oh, not Kemper.
No,
She got
Royer.
She got married.
She's a married lady.
Jasmine Royer.
She's getting her name changed today, actually.
Aw.
Really?
Oh, well, then there's a reason why we just did that. Yes, yeah. And Jasmine is, gosh, she does many things as well, but she manages our copywriting and a lot of the email flow for Plant.Body.Soul. So we're really grateful to have such amazing women here in this company. And yeah, I think we can say it's a nice way to celebrate Women's History Month to be able to highlight the women of this company here.
Absolutely.
I think so. We can't forget Melissa and Mia, who are overseas
Shout
teammates.
Yes.
We love them too. They do a lot of really great work for us for social.
Yes, we have yet to meet our overseas teammates in person, but we get to see them every week online. And it would be really cool if we could find a way to bring them here, or maybe we go to the Philippines. I have always wanted to visit the Palawan Islands in the Philippines,
yes.
so maybe it sounds better to go to the Philippines.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
You don't have to convince me too hard.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I hear that, Mia, Melissa, and also our teammate Alan over there will be maybe planning a Plant.Body.Soul visit to the Philippines soon. So I know we've got some questions for our gals here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I was curious, who are some of the most influential women in your life and your career? What would you say?
Well, I'll go first. Definitely some of my female teachers. I mean, I would also have to say too first before I go to my teachers, but my mom, who passed away when I was 21. She was 54 when she died of a brain tumor, and she was a very sweet, just good human, not a mean bone in her body. She was just a good, sweet, gentle woman. So she was impactful in my life in many ways. And I also would have to say my teachers. So, you know, teachers like Kamini Desai, who I learned Yoga Nidra from. She has been an impactful guidepost in my learning my craft. And then I would say indirectly, an indirect teacher, Pema Chodron. I really love her writing and her talks. She's a Western Buddhist nun. She's got a little bit of a dry sense of humor, so it makes everything real palatable. And I often find myself going there to her lectures and her books when I just need something, and reassurance or an outside another perspective. And one of her lectures, Living Fully, has been so impactful. It's a lot about how you can live fully in times of uncertainty and change, and I feel like it's applicable in really any state of life. Very applicable now, as it is in the future, as it was in the past. So yeah, that's my women that have made an impact in my life. How about you?
I feel like the easiest answer is probably got to be my grandma. Obviously, my mom has made a huge impact in my life as well. But as I get older, and I learn more about my grandma's origin story and how she got to be who she is. We are twin flames, and the way that we think is so similar, and it's just kind of interesting to see like a life track like a couple generations down the line that could be me. And I realized a few weeks ago, I dropped my grandma off at the bus department. She's, in her 70s. I dropped her off so she could take a bus to see her sisters in another state. And even though my entire family just begged her not to take a bus to go see these people, or to, take a plane or let somebody drive her or something, she just kind of does what she wants to do. And I was complaining to a friend about how frustrating she was. And my friend just looked at me and said, "You realize it's literally you." And I was like, you know what? I think it is. So I think my grandma has had the biggest impact and influence on me. She's taught me a lot about just kind of doing what I need to and what I want to in order to be happy. And she lives that every single day. She's the most vivacious and traveled lady that I've ever met. So I think my grandma would be my most influential lady.
She sounds like a neat lady.
She's amazing.
And also, isn't it kind of like a mind fuck when you realize that the person that's frustrating you the most is the direct reflection of yourself?
Yeah, I'll say my family's genes have got to be pretty strong, because me, my mom, my grandma are all basically the same. We do like a 3-way call every single day, and sometimes we'll like call an uncle on or something, and they really can't tell who's talking because we all sound the same, we all laugh the same, we all have the same weird opinions and crazy ideas. So definitely those two ladies right there.
Cool. Well, they're both really amazing ladies.
They come to our events.
Yeah.
My mom and my grandma are cool.
They are really cool. I know. Very cool. How about you?
I grew up with a lot of female influence around me. I had 3 sisters and was with my mom most of the time, just us until my little brother came along when I was 14. So he definitely got a lot of female influence as well. But growing up, I was the middle child, and my oldest sister was definitely a big influence on me. Anything she liked, I liked. So my music taste was about 6 years ahead of its time when I was in like 2nd grade, just like listening to Welcome to the Black Parade on repeat and, just doing everything she did. So it's cool to have seen her journey and follow my sisters along in this beautiful life, but also love learning from you ladies every day. Great influences all around.
Appreciate that.
Right back at you, Anna.
Totally. I would say my biggest influence is my mother. She is a businesswoman through and through. She's been working in the jewelry industry for 40 years now. Like, she's someone that I'm like, wow, like, she can do this on her own as a single mother, like kicking butt. Like, I really appreciate everything she's done for us and, for me. But yeah, I definitely look see her as like an influence, because I'm like, how do you do sales so easily? You know what I mean? I'm like, it's a little tough for me to like even put myself out there, but just seeing her, like, it motivates me to do better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you wearing anything she made right now?
This is actually some jewelry that she gave me that was hers.
Gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Most of my jewelry is hers.
Yeah.
That's where I get it from. That's very cool. Yeah.
Just curious, since grandmothers have been a theme here with everybody, the maternal side of the family, do you find yourself desiring to be a mother yourself of, children? Some of us have fur babies already, and maybe that's the extent of our mothering and nurturing, but just curious, do you want families of your own?
Yeah, I definitely do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was an only child, so I feel like maybe 1 or 2 would be great. But yeah, I would love to see, how it'd be like to be a mom.
I think you'd be a great mom.
Thanks.
I second that, absolutely. I think I go back and forth. The idea sounds great, but I also really like to sleep and do what I want to do. But I do say that my like mothering nature and instinct is really strong, and I have a really strong desire to like be around kids and to like learn with kids, teach kids. There's a program called Free Arts for Abused Kids that I just volunteered to be part of their, I just applied to be part of their volunteer program. It was a very long process to get in there, but I have a strong desire to teach and learn and nurture and just make sure kids feel safe around me. All my life I've wanted to be a trusted adult, so I'm working toward that now. So whether that means my own children or just helping with my friends' kids, I'm very excited when everyone has a baby. But also I've got a really big dog that has taken up most of my attention for almost a decade. She's my girl, and I can't imagine being anyone else's mom except hers.
Yeah, that's a great program, Free Arts of Arizona. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about it. It's a great community program. If you guys want more information about it, you should check out their website. They do all kinds of things, and there's lots of ways for you to be a part of it, not just volunteering, but donating, all of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I want kids, but I've definitely wrestled back and forth, especially lately, now that it's like not this idea off in the future, but like it's almost that time, and all the pressure from family. I just got my first nephew in the fall, so he's simultaneously making me want to have a baby and the best birth control. He's just a sweetheart. But I'm like, what part of this is just the societal expectation on me and making me want it, and what part of it is me wanting it? And just because I want it, does that mean I should bring a life into the universe when the world's a little messed up? So a lot to grapple with, but I think in the end it'll happen.
It is, yeah.
If it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely past that age. I guess I really could if I wanted to, but I'm 44. I turned 44 March 8th, which is International Women's Day. So that becomes much riskier for both mom and baby as you get older. And Butch, my partner, has one is 17, almost 18 in May, and the other one is 19, two sons. So they're kind of like my bonus kids. I never in a million years thought I would be in this position. But it's an interesting thing as a woman who's always been very career focused and never really like having that overwhelming biological clock that was ticking. However, when I turned, like, it's only been in like the last 2 years, like 42, where I'm sitting there thinking, oh shit, like it's now or never. For the health of baby and mom, it's now or never. And that was kind of a trip, like to see the door of one huge part of your life, your birthing years, start to close. And so there was definitely some more sadness, and it was unexpected for me. That has never had that like overwhelming desire to like be a mommy, So, and I get that because, I get to teach and I get to nurture people in a class setting or an experience. And that by far for me, service is much more impactful. And I feel like that's where I give back.
It feeds you. Yeah. I feel like if I didn't have that outlet, or if I didn't have like friends who had kids who, I could go and say, hey, do you guys want to do chalk drawings tonight or something, like I can do those things that make me happy and kind of feed that inner child. I don't know if that like desire would be different, but I feel very fulfilled, like being able to kind of borrow my friends' kids and give them back when I'm overwhelmed or overstimulated. But then also just being like invested enough that like they ask me to come to their like award ceremonies, or they want to, hang out and go to the library. Like that feeds me like a lot. And I think that maybe my opinion would be different if I just didn't have access to that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So I'm curious, as a woman in the cannabis space, what unique challenges have you faced and overcome?
Do you want to go first?
I feel like I've been pretty lucky in the cannabis space to be around people who have been super welcoming, inclusive, not really have any issues. But I do remember when I was first starting out as a brand ambassador, and there was a grand opening of a dispensary. And I remember the CEO owner was making a speech, and I was like, oh, I'm curious to see what he has to say about, the heart of this company. And he basically said, my friend told me about cannabis and I thought I'd make a lot of money. And now here I am making a lot of money. I was just like, that was it. That's all he said. Nothing about, destigmatization, education, availability, quality, nothing. I was like, why do the people in power get to,
be this way?
Yeah. If it were one of us, we would have a beautiful list of things to say and, there'd be inspiration, but you just lose some of that when all the people in power look the same. So I still think about that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think intention is everything. And what did you get into this business for? Obviously, in business, you want to make money. That is the purpose of a business, is to be able to sustain your life through work that ideally you're passionate about in some way, shape, or form, or that you're helping somebody. And I think a lot of people, I know a lot of women in the industry get into the industry because they want to help. They want to help. I think by nature, historically, women are the healers. When you're sick, you're injured, it's the woman who is tending and nurturing and all of that. So, not to assign roles or anything, but historically, traditionally, that has been the thing. I would feel that women who are in this mindset or natural inclination come to the cannabis space wanting to help, wanting to be of service, wanting to heal, wanting to make a difference in somebody's life. Maybe they had a kid who is autistic and was, their life was dramatically improved from using cannabis in a medical way or what have you.
When I first started in the industry, I started in reception. And the dispenser that I worked with actually had a CBD shop in the dispensary that people could come and purchase things separately, non-THC products. And I feel like that's where I learned my passion for cannabis. When I initially applied, of course, I really loved the environment and I wanted to work there. I really liked the people who worked there. Every time, I'd come, they'd help me. But working in the CBD shop, I got to see just like how cannabis can positively affect your life, how CBD can positively affect someone's life, harm reduction, things like that, getting a chance to actually like have conversations with people. And so I feel like when I was in that position, I feel like there was no distinction between like male and female within the industry because I worked reception. People were yelling at me and going toe to toe just like they were my male counterparts. Like everybody was in the lobby fighting. But I feel like when I moved into the marketing side of cannabis is when I started to kind of see the differentiation, definitely in like department heads and just not having as many like female leaders or female, bosses or managers or things like that. But then also on the marketing side, you get to see, the way that cannabis is marketed to the people that they want to consume it. And there's this very specific subset of, cannabis lore that's the quote unquote like boobs and bongs, and of course there's a market, there's something for everybody somewhere, but the fact that I feel like a lot of marketing starts at that place because it's catering to a male audience or a male gaze, was something that I noticed a lot more when I moved into the marketing side of cannabis more than any other part of it.
Yeah Again, something for everybody.
There's definitely an audience for it, but like for your average everyday, like a 26-year-old female who's coming in to buy cannabis, like I don't really care about boobs and bongs that much, like having a really pretty girl in a bikini on a package is not going to do anything for me because I don't know, like it's not for me, So
it would for sure repel me as a consumer. It would be like, oh, that's just not my brand.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for the cute little, like, organic looking, healthy something, if it's got a ratio.
Oh my gosh, I throw people off so much sometimes when I go into the dispensary and they're like, oh, we've got this new stuff and look at this packaging. And I'm like, yeah, but who grows it?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Where did it come from?
Yeah, exactly. the same. I also.
Yeah.
you should always ask those questions.
Yeah.
Like, what's the grow that's producing this?
And when?
Yeah.
And when.
Yeah.
You want to get into the nitty gritty, you can ask, like, how was it stored? How did it come to you? Is it prepackaged, or did you guys buy it in bulk? Like, you can really get into somebody's head like that. But it's because there are more things that matter than just like catching somebody's attention. And so even like in marketing, when working with our clients, it's really important to tell the story and to understand the basis of the client that we're working with, so that we can accurately reach the audience that they're trying to reach by speaking directly to them, as opposed to just being like, we got weed. Do you want some?
Speaking of that marketing tactic right there, we were driving to Lynn and Sam's new house. They've both been guests on the podcast. They're out in Buckeye. Man, it's far out there. So we were driving on the freeway, and there was a big billboard by Jars, and it says free weed every day.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that one.
That's their marketing. And I mean, it's
Great
brilliant.
for people who are, especially people who are visiting Arizona and they're like, I don't know where to find the weed. It's
There it is.
It's right there.
There.
It's at Jars.
Don't
and
worry.
it's free every day.
But as opposed to like somebody who's looking for some like really good quality stuff, or maybe looking for some cannabis specifically for, pain relief or something, it might not speak directly to them.
Right.
But there's definitely something for everyone.
I can't say I haven't been tempted by that billboard.
It's very clear. There's no way to misinterpret it. You know exactly where it is and where you can get it.
That's true. Yeah. So I started my career as a bud tender in the industry.
Yeah.
Local dispensary around here. I feel like as a bud tender, it was interesting when male people would come in and they wouldn't trust your
recommendations
and like things
Wow.
So yeah, that was an interesting one for sure. And I feel like even as like when I moved into being like a floor lead, like a manager, I also had to deal with customers that weren't happy with certain products. And I feel like as a woman, it was like, oh, you can't really help me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to talk to you the way I want to. But all in all, I still got some respect.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a really good perspective people don't think about, is just the curse of womanhood. People don't trust what you're saying, and they don't believe that you know what you're talking about, even if you are the expert or you are the lead on the floor.
Yeah. Mansplaining.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But just so everyone knows, Anna knows her stuff. She really does.
Yeah, she does.
Come on. Suggest things to people now. So.
Oh my God. It's hard to turn that off.
Yeah.
No matter what part of the industry you've worked in, it's just like unsolicited advice just flying everywhere. It's just like anyone's like, oh, my elbow hurts. And I'm like, you know what?
Yes, totally.
I can't sleep. Well, I've got a product for you.
Yeah.
Or like edible dosage, Start with a 2.5.
Yeah.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
I found myself explaining what an infused pre-roll was, like breaking down the components to my friend's entire extended Mexican family, like aunts and uncles. Grandma's over there. She's like, should I try it? I'm like, maybe not that one.
Maybe not that one, but like, it's cool that people
I don't know how I got here.
You start talking all your nerdy talk, and people are just like, Really funny story about one of our teammates in overseas, Melissa. So we're writing captions for a client, and we're talking about it's coming up in the summer months, and it's a great time to have some ice in your ice catcher if you smoke with glass pieces. There's some really delicious, fun like recipes you can try for your cubes to make it like extra fun, because I'm one of those people.
Cool.
And she just like didn't understand, and I was like, you know what? Have you ever seen a bong in person? And she was like, no. And so I had to literally go like dig through my collection. I found like the most clear bong I had. And like I was showing her the pieces, and I was like, okay, so this is how you use it, and this is where the ice catcher is, and you put it in here and the smoke comes here. And she was just like, wow, okay, I understand now. And it's just the funniest things that happen in the cannabis industry, because I would have never expected to be explaining an ice catcher just like as part of an everyday meeting.
Well, and cannabis is illegal in the Philippines.
It is. So she's working on, just research knowledge and the things that I tell her, but she and I have some really cool conversations about like tobacco versus hemp leaves, and just like, how do people break down their cannabis? Like, what do they smoke it out of? It's
I bet
very
she's
interesting.
now going to her friends and family
I
as
think
the
so.
expert.
I think so.
Guess what I learned today?
Whoa.
Yeah. It's very interesting, but
Yeah.
cannabis is a fun space to work in. I feel like being a woman has not stopped me from doing anything in the cannabis space, but it has made me a little bit more aware, eyes open of a couple of things.
Yeah, for sure. I also would say that I don't feel like I've had any challenges. I mean, just being an entrepreneur and independent business owner, I started as a just me running Canacula, and I just was out and about networking, and then I started working with a magazine to pick up some extra income as I was building my business. And they would fly me out. I was in sales, and they would fly me. I flew out to, for example, MJ BizCon. Like the first year was in Vegas. This was back in, I want to say 2017. And what I did experience as a woman in cannabis, especially in the sales side, is it's a boys' club, and it's definitely there's a sexualization of women in the industry. So like there's these like kind of there's always this like push to like, oh, well, let's go get drinks, and oh, let's go party after, and like, oh, let's, I've been offered illicit drugs like cocaine and things more times in the cannabis industry in a sales role than I would like to admit. I don't personally use it. As a young person, I did. Never again. And I just like, it just made me feel like, no, I'm here to make connections that are not romantic or party. Like, it's fun to get to know people over a cocktail, fine, that's socially acceptable in business, but I'm not trying to go back to your room or stay out till 5 a.m. with you, and I just noticed it was like it was repetitive, and it wasn't isolated to 1 or 2 or 3 incidents. It's every time that you're in this setting that there's substances, alcohol, other things introduced, and then of course it's you can feel when the energy is, I'd really want to make out with you instead of talk business. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you think it's just like a connection with like cannabis, like a party drug essentially, and then combining with alcohol and everything else? Do you think that's kind of the mindset in those spaces?
I mean, that's a truly, I guess, recreational, when we talk about recreational use of cannabis, I hate that word. I never use it. I prefer adult use, because that would imply that if you are an adult, then you have fair and equal access to something like cannabis. It doesn't matter what you're using it for, whether you're using it for sleep or for fun or for pain relief. It's just that you have access. So anyhow, that does feel like a recreational way to be around the cannabis space or to consume it. And when you look at the way most marketers market a recreational cannabis brand, it's boobs and bongs.
Yeah.
Generally, right?
Yeah, that's one of the easiest ways to reel them in. I feel like, I mean, most marketing, not most markets, but a lot of markets do rely heavily on the sexualization of women to sell their products. And I don't think the cannabis industry is an exception, unfortunately. But what's really cool is that now that we have been in a quote unquote adult use recreational market for a couple of years now, we've, I think, had an opportunity to grow a lot of brands that see differently. And for agencies like ours, like Plant.Body.Soul specifically, to be able to come in and help those brands to form a different narrative that also sells. There's a lot of like art and culture that can be tapped into also with cannabis that kind of comes, second nature inherently. So it doesn't always have to be boobs and bongs.
Right.
It could be music too. It could be, counterculture. It could be anything
Just
really.
lifestyle in general, not just an image.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great local brands, that use art and music as their focus. I mean, Sneakers is a great one. What were you just saying? There's
Timeless. I think Timeless is. I love talking about the growth of Timeless over the last like 5 or 6 years, because obviously they've always kind of been a juggernaut in the industry, but the way that they maintain relevancy by collaborating with local artists and by involving the community and like having community events where people like have really strong brand recognition. I think Timeless is a good example also.
They're great. And they're always a big part of the things that we do. They've been a partner for Walter Yoga and Friday High Day After Dark and all the things. So they also have a like a retail like streetwear clothing line. I think that does like their merch alone is always fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's other ways to market outside of just look at this pretty girl.
Yep.
Don't you want to buy some weed?
They do that with alcohol too.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Sex sells, I suppose.
That's what they say. But how do we continue to shape the narratives, like even outside of the marketing world? How do we shape the narrative of cannabis?
I mean, for me personally, and I feel like what we've really brought forth at Plant.Body.Soul is that it's that it doesn't have to be that. It's the lens in which we practice all things maybe better or in a different light. It's like dropping in with cannabis and having, doing a yoga class or a physical practice or a hike. I mean, that's a very health and wellness focused. Or it's, taking a little bit and then, going to dance or listen to music or play music and produce or to create art of some, whether it's film or, paint, whatever it is. So I feel like we do that really well here, and we work with brands that do all of those things. I don't think we really have a sex and cannabis or sexy cannabis brand yet, although I would really like to work with an intimacy brand.
That would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, CBD lubes and all that stuff. Like the period products too. I mean, that's kind of sidetracked, but like cannabis.
I mean, it's
works
not
with
though.
all that.
Yeah.
Like the suppositories for cramps. Like I would love to work with a brand that has that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We just have to kind of showcase. I think it goes back to what Anna Gray said about just showcasing the lifestyle. Like, when I consider myself like a very average everyday cannabis user of my like general demographic. And I think about the things that I do when I smoke cannabis all the time, especially when I'm creating content or creating concepts. It's just like, yeah, sometimes I do smoke a bowl and like take an espresso shot and get started on my day. Like that's pretty realistic for me. Sometimes I do roll a little joint and go and paint at the park. Like that's not an unreasonable thing for me to do. So I just think about like everyday little pieces of life that showcase what the average person is probably using cannabis to enhance, maybe a little bowl before you have to clean the bathroom. Like that feels real to me.
Bowl before cleaning the bowl.
Absolutely.
A bowl before doing any chore.
It makes the chore a lot more manageable, and personally it helps with my time management a lot. Like knowing like, okay, well, I'm going to do this task for 25 minutes and then I'm going to smoke a bowl and then I'm going to do another task for 25 minutes, finding a way to use it for productivity. So I think just lifestyle, like showcasing more real lifestyle.
Normalizing it.
I do agree too, like since we are kind of the target audience for a lot of these brands, our lives can influence how we portray that for content. Like our last shoot, we did painting portraits and making edibles and things that I would absolutely do after smoking. I ate a firecracker yesterday. So
What's a firecracker?
it's when you can use peanut butter or Nutella, any spread that has fat in it to bind to the cannabinoids, and you can decarb the weed first, but we didn't want to stink up the pure space, so we didn't do that in the shoot. But I just put that in between 2 graham crackers, wrap it in foil, and I put it in the air fryer for like 15 minutes, and was like, this is not the way that you normally do it, but it worked.
But it's a way.
It certainly worked.
It's a way.
It was like an experiment. It's an herbal chocolatey thing.
And yeah, that's like, I mean, that's just cute stuff that we do on the weekends. It's realistic people stuff. Lots of people engage in just like everyday activities after consuming cannabis, and showcasing that I think changes the narrative a lot.
I agree. So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind for future generations of women in the cannabis and marketing industries?
Honestly, I would say take the chance. Like, if you're interested in working with cannabis, like, do it. Like, your family might be like, what is she doing? Because but I think being that person in that space and like learning all these things again to bring back to your family and teaching them on how they can use it, and them now asking you if you have things on you so they can try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think doing it, taking that chance, grow forward with cannabis. I think don't be scared to do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's an opportunity, take it. I think sometimes women are taught to downplay themselves and not value themselves as much as they should. And sometimes that can make you resist taking an opportunity, but just go for it. And I'm sure that'll change as we...
It'd be easier
Yeah.
in the future.
Yep.
We're just beginning.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going to say too. It's just like whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. If you want to be the lead cultivator, girl, go ahead, because buy women from weed is a phenomenon that's taking off. If you want to be in marketing, you can do that. If you want to
buy women from weed.
Oh my gosh.
Buy weed from women.
Buy weed from women, but weed is women. Weed is women.
Yeah.
She is.
She is.
She is the moment.
We're not smoking male flowers out here, okay? Weed is woman. Yeah, thank you for catching that.
I was like, wait.
You can do anything. Some of the most badass growers that I've ever met are women. A lot of people don't realize how many positions are available. There's so many things you can be. Some of the best marketing directors that I've met were women. Some of the best I don't I don't know the people who buy the products.
The buyers.
The buyers, the distributors, like there's so many levels to cannabis and places that you can wind up. So if there's something you want to do, just do it. Make the space for yourself, advocate for yourself, be aggressive about it. Don't be afraid to be aggressive, and just do what you want to do.
At least try it.
Because you can.
Yeah. I think there's, especially in this country, in most Western countries, the barrier to a woman, going after what she wants and making it happen is much lower than it is in others. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, if there's a will, there's a way. There is. And there's always bumps in the road, and it's never smooth. And it's, we have maybe these barriers that our genders present, or maybe it's cultural, or geographical or whatever. I mean, there's all sorts of things. But I think that there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Even if it takes a long time, everything's not meant to be overnight. I feel like we get used to instant gratification. But if you want it and you work hard for it, it can be yours.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does not take overnight. That's for sure. I feel like I'm just starting to get a handle on some things now that I'm 44,
Just getting started.
Just getting started, but also like, wow, I'm just fully understanding who I am, or, I would say in terms of a legacy, is something that you leave behind. And for me, the legacy that I want to leave behind for future generations of women in cannabis and marketing is, I don't even know if it's in marketing specifically. I would say cannabis and wellness. I would like to leave up a space for women and just all people to be able to discover their own path to healing in a safe place. That's the legacy I want to leave. I want to, build something that is lasting, that, people can come to and enjoy and get what they need in a safe healing space. So that ultimately I think is my legacy. And I don't know, Plant.Body.Soul is a marketing agency and event company as well, but we help bring businesses and brands to life. And I know that we're doing some important work moving into psychedelic fields. And I see that we are on the forefront and blazing fucking trails in an industry that is not even it's like so tiny and nascent and baby,
Such a small little industry right now.
It is. We're growing a baby in a way, it's cool. So yeah, that's my answer for that one.
That's beautiful. On another note, I'm curious what women-owned businesses you guys are loving right now, since it is Women's Month.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm like, I have to think. Wait.
Yeah.
Let me go through my mental.
So currently, definitely this brand. It's a local brand, women-owned, and it's called Naked Rebellion. And it is a really inclusive brand. They sell nude colors for every shade. It's like a size for everybody. So I think what she's done is like kind of bringing that kind of shop into like a local place like Phoenix that not a lot of people have opportunities to shop at. So I think it's pretty cool that she did that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Awesome. My default answer always goes to Monsoon Market because I'm obsessed with those ladies. They just like curated such a cool space in Phoenix. Local products that maybe aren't from here, but just really thoughtfully sourced things. They have UU pipes and dad grass and all sorts of they had a grinder that was a Coke can, like a tiny little baby. Or no, it was a lighter that was a little soda can. It was like just the cutest little things. But they're always hosting fun little events and doing new stuff. I love to see what innovative new thing they're doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's some creative ladies over there, and they've got a really cool wine club too. I always get like the best amazing. Like little artisanal tasty wines from over there. Yeah, I like them. Right now though, I'm obsessed with the Zoni girls. Have you guys heard of them?
Yeah. Yes.
The girls who do the roller skating, they're so cool. And I've been kind of like silently watching them grow for the last 2-3 years. And seeing them do collaborations with Walter Warehouse for skate events, and now they're doing stuff with like the Botanical Gardens for a skate night. It looks super cute and adorable. I went to one of their backward skating classes on like the weekend one day in Tempe Town Lake, and actually got some really good fundamentals down. I can't quite do it yet because I don't practice enough, but I know how to do it because of them. And also they just like encouraged me to just like go skate around Tempe Town Park or Tempe Town Lake, and that was something I was kind of nervous to do before because there's like rocks in the road, but it was good, and I only fell really hard one time. So nice. They're infusing a lot of like encouragement and just like positive vibes into the community, and doing these really, really, really cool collaborations. I'm excited to see where they're at in the next year or 2 years.
Cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're pretty neat. Women-owned businesses. Gosh, I have a few. I mean, just to name off, like, one of our clients, or a couple of our clients, like Teresa Hansen, visionary behind High Vibe Kitchen Collective, also, works for and with Copper State Farms, but that's her baby, and she went out and with an idea, and we helped bring that to life. That was really cool. Allison Benedict with Pause Consumption. I mean, she's created this very cool pop-up consumption lounge and education platform. Have a lot of respect for her, following her passion and her dream. Mm-hmm. Something I learned when I went to see Paul Stamets at Celebrity Theater is that the Celebrity Theater is a women-owned venue.
Really? That's great.
And it's been around forever, and it's such a cool theater in the round. Highly recommend if you've never been there. But that's a woman-owned business. Like, how dope is that? And it made me want to support that business even more. Another shout out to like our friends, Heather Lennon, who's building amazing buildings like Warehouse 215, and is a connoisseur of cigars, and you know, Eileen Spitalny, owner of Fairy Tale Brownies. Like,
Yep.
those women are badasses.
We're surrounded
They
by
are.
some really, really cool ladies.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. So, shout out to all those badass women out there. We move into our Plant.Body.Soul questions. And I feel like maybe we just pick a couple, or do you want one in each category?
Can I ask my my favorite question of the whole thing?
Yes.
My favorite question is, what does your perfect day look like? I love that question so much. I want you to get as detailed as possible.
Oh.
Start of the day. Ooh.
This is like the perfect question to end on.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah. Okay, great.
Well, I would say waking up whatever time I want would be great. Actually going to the park and taking my dog out. That's always fun. I love doing that with him and just spending time. After that, I would definitely say go thrifting or just shopping. It's literally like therapy. So I think that would be amazing. And then either ending the night with some dinner or even watching a movie.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
I like that too. I feel like there's so many different versions of my perfect
yeah.
day. It depends on my mood.
Where are we?
That's definitely one of them. I feel like my eternal perfect day, though, is in Mykonos. It's just like my happy place. I can close my eyes and go there. Waking up also whenever I want. The window there is like this big, and you don't get much light, so it's not too hard to do that. So 11 or so, I'll go upstairs and have some juice and look at the water, and then go to the beach and, you know, have some good Greek food.
Yeah.
That's all I really need.
Sounds like a really good day.
I'm in.
And my dogs are
Every
there
day is
because
best.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
They
It's a
would
perfect
like
day.
it.
They'd be there.
Yeah.
I too would like to go to Mykonos.
You can be there too. We're all there, actually.
Anna can wish us all there in her perfect day. You can have the day
I
too.
got you.
I think my perfect day also involves probably waking up like around like 11 or 12, maybe 1. After going to bed at like 4 from like a just creative brainstorm. So like not too much sleep, but like enough sleep. I also take my dog to the park. We take a fat nap in the sunlight. And then we get up and we go get ice cream, the good kind, either from the yard or from Churn. Either one is fine. They're both delicious and wonderful, but the yard does give you a glass jar to take home, so I've been collecting them.
Oh.
And then I would take a little baby microdose, and I would light some incense and dance in my living room for a couple hours. And then when I was coming down from the microdose, I would drink some fresh juice, fresh pressed orange juice specifically. And then I would make a pillow for it and watch a movie on my projector on the wall. And that would be my
Aw.
perfect day.
That sounds
With my
really
dog,
cute.
like, literally attached to my hip that whole entire time.
course.
That's amazing. I like that one also. Yeah, I guess the perfect day has various variations, you know, depending on part of me is like, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to go like in my visions that I've had of like my perfect, like I was asked, you know, in a women's seminar actually with Lynn long time ago, many years ago, about what does success look like to you, and to visualize it, and you know, to see where are you, what are you wearing, like all of that. And I've come back to that exercise over the years, and it's kind of the same, but then with the addition of like my partner had kind of come into this vision in my mind. So this would be like my perfect day, is that I'm living in the islands of Spain or Barcelona, and it's on the beach. It's like so it's a Mediterranean beach. And I wake up early. I like the early morning. I would be next to my love of my life, and Butch, and there would be just time together, just soaking in like serotonin and pheromones. We like to cuddle and just like lay for a while. And then getting up and again lighting my incense and going outside and putting my feet in the grass and the sun in my eyes and my face and getting grounded and soaking up all that energy. And then a little, I have my green juice, my athletic greens. Shout out to AG1. And my fiber. Gotta have your fiber. And then meditation and so typically like a little yoga practice or a qigong practice, and then meditation. And then, yes, kisses from my Frenchie, Jonesy, are somewhere in there. And walk on the beach in the sand, just soaking in the sun, having a delicious meal, some multiple meals. I love food. And the sound of the waters like a soothing for me. And there would be some music involved in some sort of sunset session of like, I don't know, maybe there's definitely some cannabis involved. There's a sunset on the beach. There's a DJ playing my favorite house music. And I've got my friends and my love and my dog and the Butch's boys, and we're all there, and we're on the beach. But there's also part of me in my vision of success that's on a yacht in that beautiful water.
We've got time for both.
So that would maybe be we'd be on the beach and then going into our boat for the sunset cruise. And that's my perfect day.
That's beautiful.
It's a real good day. That sounds like a great day. Everybody rewind and close your eyes for a second.
I saw it.
Yeah. It's and I do believe in that manifestation, like writing it down and looking at it and reading it every day. And I did do that. And I'm a list maker, and so I make these lists, and I have them on my vision board, which is my refrigerator door, because it's in the center of my home, which is the Tai Chi center in like the feng shui. I guess it's a philosophy, energetic philosophy or science. That it's like the hub, and I see it all the time, and I'm looking at it and reading it. And so I believe that if you have a place that's your hub, that you're in all the time, and you're constantly looking and reading the thing that you want to make happen, you are setting that landscape for it to manifest. So I think it's possible if you want it.
Absolutely.
That's a great tip. I'm going to take that immediately.
I may need to move my vision board to the
mood
fridge.
boards on the fridges. Is that the 2024 trend?
Look at it.
The kitchen's my creative space. I enjoy cooking and being in there. And I think wherever the creative space or the hub of your home is, to constantly see and look and read what those things are that you want. And another thing that I did too, and I'll add this in because I think it's equally as important as the manifestation of your vision, your desires, is I wrote myself a love note, a forgiveness note, a note of encouragement to my little Jennifer. And I did that at that Pause Galentine's event. And I wrote, all the things like, you're not different, and you're not too sensitive, and don't let anybody, keep your heart open. Don't anybody steal your light. Like all these things, like reassuring and forgiving myself, or making sure that I knew I wasn't weird or wrong. And I also read that every day. Because in order to get the things that you want, you have to let go of the things that are tethering you and binding you from knowing that those are your absolute birthrights. Whatever you want, you can have. And it's only this little child that's been hurt and thinks that they can't do it that's in your way. So that's my 2 cents.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, this has been a really lovely podcast with you. Thank you for being here, and I'm grateful that we got to give a voice to two of the women who have not been here on the podcast yet, and Anna. We're grateful that we could share your light with people who have yet to know you. And we're really actually. Where do you want to shout out your Instas or your social? If you want anybody to stay connected with you.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's Anna, ANNA .Paola, which is my middle name, which is PAOLAA. And yeah, just see me on Instagram.
Cool.
You can follow my work at Photo by Anna Gray with an A. And personally, Anna Princess 796 is my first email. So
I knew there
just feel
had
like
to
it
be a
still
lore
works.
about it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just too iconic to not have
I was
a
7
story.
when I made it. That's where the 7 comes from.
I dig it.
That's so cute.
You can find me on most platforms. Small Town Psycho. I'm just myself.
I love that handle. It makes me chuckle every time I get it. Well, I don't know. Everybody knows. I think maybe. Well, Jennifer Miles Wellness on Instagram and Facebook. So you can find Plant.Body.Soul on Facebook and YouTube at Plant.Body.Soul, as well as Instagram, Plant.Body.Soul. And you can sign up on our email list at Plant.Body.Soul.com. We have some amazing events coming up here soon, and you'll get first drops on events and the podcast if you sign up for that email list. We would also love if you would subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you found us on. Give us a 5-star review. We would love you forever for it. It does definitely help boost our ratings. So that's all for us. Thank you so much, and have
Thank
a
you for having
wonderful
us.
day.
Thank you.
Happy Women's Month.
Month.
Women's History Month.